David. Good to see you. Welcome. What do you live? You here? Okay. From Chipping office. I'm glad you.
Good to see you. Good to see you both. So, DC still.
Elliot Lee, thank you.
Gather again for reunion and ever yet a special moment here for our annual Gold Lunch to celebrate the class of 1974 and also to honor our Distinguished Service Award recipients and our Distinguished Alumnus Award recipient. So thank you for joining us. We are going to begin our official program so that we can feed you and celebrate together in this fellowship. To begin, we'd like to invite the head of school singers led by Mr. Matt Smith to perform Rocky Mountain High.
When he first came to the mountains, his life was far away. On the road and hanging by a song. But the stream was already broken, and he doesn't care. He came fast, and it don't last long. Colorado, Rocky Mountain High. I've seen it rain fire in the sky. Shadows from the starlight, something in a lullaby. Rocky Mountain High, Colorado. Rocky Mountain High, Colorado. Shadows from the starlight, something in a lullaby. Rocky Mountain High, Colorado. Rocky Mountain High, Colorado. Rocky Mountain
I know that they're good, and every time they start singing, I'm reminded of how good they are. These boys opened Carnegie Hall in March in a special performance there and have had a truly remarkable year. So I'm glad you're able to enjoy that with us. To kick off today's festivities, I'd like to ask Mr. Mark Stingle, the class of 74, to join us at the podium.
Thank you very much, Dr. Doherty. I'm thrilled to be able to represent the class of 1974. It's hard to believe 50 years have gone by amongst our classmates. We still act like little chimpanzees when we get together. I would like to just make very few comments. Our class statistician, Don McLeod, sent some interesting factoids to me this week. I started in 9th grade, so this doesn't entirely apply to me, but in 7th grade, or from 7th grade, there are 33 of our one-time classmates who never made it to the finish line in 12th grade. We graduated a class of 70, and sadly we've lost 12 since then, so we are a remaining rump of 58 50-year reunion class members. I thought that was pretty fascinating. Don also related to me a funny anecdote about coming past MBA on Harding Pike with his daughter and pointing up to the school and said, "Boy, I wish I'd gone to that school." And his daughter said, "But Dad, you did go to that school." He said, "I didn't go to that school." It has changed so much in the 50 years that we've been here. And that then led me to remember a crazy event. I know he won't mind because he likes people making him the butt of this particular funny anecdote. Our good friend Bruce Spalding, as a 7th grader, was probably best known for his demerits and his poor grades. But at graduation, when Mr. Carter was talking about top boy, he said, "And David Small." Well, Bruce, who had been sort of half dozing off, heard Spalding. And so he walked up to receive his Best Boy award, as David, on the other side of the room, walked up on the other side of the room. And Bruce said, "Now this place is just fantastic. If a guy like me can be named Best Boy with all of the demerits and all the crazy grades and the Saturdays that I've spent over here, this is a special place." He gets up to the front of the room, confronts Mr. Carter, who hands David Small his award, and Mr. Carter claps him on both shoulders as if to say, "Nice try, Bruce." But it does point out the, I think, parallel emotions that both Don McLeod and Bruce Spalding hold, I think, in their hearts for all of us of that class. This is an incredibly special place. We're so grateful to have had the experience of coming here, and we're so grateful to be able to continue to visit and see how that school has now become this school.
Thank you, Mark. I know that many of you have not yet had a chance to meet me or my family, and I hope that over the course of the next day we can spend some individual time together. It's such a privilege to be here. My name is William Daughtry, and I'm the new head of school here at MBA. And this summer, my wife, Lauren, who's here, and our children, Maddie and Henry, drove into Nashville with much hope for what we would find. And I must admit that with each passing day, it just gets better. This is such a special and meaningful community. And with each passing day, I also come to appreciate more and more Brad and Minna Joya, who are here with us today, for their incredible devotion to the school for 29 years. So much of the transformation of the school happened during those 29 years, and I see how not only over the years of my individual outreach to Brad and my deep respect for him, did he help implant in my mind ways of considering and thinking about leading schools, but to then follow and have the opportunity to continue forward that vision is an incredible honor. I was speaking with a couple of other heads of boys' schools earlier this week, and what I learned during that is something that I think will actually heighten your respect for Brad as well. The group began in the early 90s when Doug Pascal was still with us and in the role. And they began talking to one another because boys' schools were disappearing from across the country, either turning into co-ed schools or folding entirely. And they were asking themselves how they would make a case for boys' schools. And so Brad came in with that question in mind among those other great leaders. And boy, did he make a case for boys' schools here at MBA. So thank you for all that you've done, Brad. I am still learning the school, but in doing so have been looking back at the history and everything that Mark mentioned earlier about this school being so different from the one that he had gone to is palpable. There is hanging on the wall in my office an announcement about the opening of MBA in 1867, which was long before the period of time, of course, that Mark was referencing. But here's what it says. The academy has 2 departments, namely a grammar school and a high school. The grammar school course occupies 3 years. The high school has 2 courses, a classical and an English. The classical occupies 4 years and will fit for Yale and Harvard. Pupils can enter other colleges without taking our 4th year. The English course will fit for practical life. Frequent written examinations will determine the grade of pupils. And there are 3 faculty listed: J.B. Lenslee, the Chancellor of the University of Nashville; J.L. Ewell, Professor of Classics and Principal of the high school; and M.S. Snow, a Professor of Mathematics and Principal of the grammar school. The principal of the academy was not yet announced, but was noted as being, quote, a professor of mental and moral science. Well, today we have 847 students. We have over 160 faculty and staff. We have students that come from 43 different schools, 28 different zip codes, 5 states. Next year, the campus has grown immensely with over 250 acres among our 3 campuses. What a treat the boys have to be a part of not only this long-standing history, but the opportunities that present today that didn't present years ago. I was asked to give a brief state of the school, and so I thought I would share a couple of the accomplishments this year that have been noteworthy. I commented upon our head of school singers a moment ago. Our academic teams, a chess team, is the high school state champions, again, going undefeated this year. Our math counts team is 2nd in the state. And the debate team had a great year. They went to the Tournament of Champions again, which is the ultimate achievement, and came in 2nd there. They were the only school with 6 of the sub-teams to qualify, which was special for the coaches and the boys. If you have seen any updates about our track team this spring, your jaw has surely hit the floor. This year, they're the 12th consecutive Nashville City champions, but just this season alone, 5 school records have been broken. In the 1,600 meter, the 3,200 meter, the pole vault, we reached 16 feet, the pole vault, the middle distance medley, and the distance medley relay. There's even more accomplishments within that, though, where boys are within events breaking what would be records if they were standalone events themselves. And so it's really remarkable, and it's inspiring for the school to see, and their peers are cheering them on. We launched a squash program for the first time with the help and support of many alumni. And what an amazing gift that has also been to the school. We knew it would grow quickly. The school where I taught in Cleveland prior to this, we had the only high school squash team in the state. We're fortunate to not be the only squash team here in Nashville. Macaulay and Baylor, both field teams. But our boys have begun as true novices, and they have a coach and teacher in Dillian Cunningham, who Brad recruited here to MBA, is actually a Clevelander himself, and met his parents before I met him earlier this year, and he's done a great job growing the program. That is structured in such a way that you can participate in nationals in Philadelphia at a number of levels. So even the boys in their first year were able to go to nationals and compete, sort of the 7th tier there, and they had a good experience and a big win while they were there, and they will compete and get better as they move forward. So we're excited to see that grow. 17 seniors will head on to play college athletics next year, and we had a signing day this winter, and we'll have another coming up here in May. The impact of MBA is not just here in Nashville, it's global. We have had exchange students just this spring from Australia, New Zealand, China, Ireland, Germany, and Spain. And we will have students heading out to Australia, New Zealand, and South Africa this summer. And that's only a portion of it. We also, through our Wilson program, have boys going on a dinosaur dig to the Judith River Basin in Montana. They'll head to Germany, France, Spain, and Colombia for language travel grants. They'll head to Ghana and Guatemala for service trips. They'll head to the Grand Canyon and Bryce Zion National Parks just for a fun trip together, and they've already been to London and Greece this year, other trips. There's also a special thing that happens each year, which is the Montgomery Bell International Symposium, which is a small group of schools from around the world that get together to talk about relevant topics. Again, something that began under Brad's leadership, and it is an incredible program. Next year, in October, we held in Canberra, Australia. And we have a junior and a senior who will go, and the discussion is the future of democracy. And so they write essays leading up to their trip, and they then will have discussions as delegations and come forward with a number of resolutions. But they bring with them perspectives from truly around the world with very different governmental systems to have that conversation. It is an amazing, and I do not believe happens really at any other school that I know of, experience for our boys. We have so much happening here just this weekend. I hope if you are able that you might catch the varsity soccer team compete tonight at 6 o'clock. They have a big game against the Father Ryan. They are undefeated so far in the season, and they're a little anxious about this game as a stiff competition for them. And the lacrosse team will be playing against Brentwood High School at 7:15. Tomorrow, the varsity baseball team at noon, just here on the baseball field behind us. And I hope you can make it to some of those. Our incoming students write letters called Hopes and Dreams letters, and someone asked me, do you want to continue those? I said, I've known about these for about 15 years before I came to MBA, and I love it, and I could never convince anybody else to do it. So please, let's continue the Hopes and Dreams letters. And here's why. I'm going to share one of them with you. The student says, I'm thrilled to be joining MBA this coming year. Ever since I first heard about MBA, for whatever reason, I've had this affinity towards its mission and its motto, gentleman, scholar, athlete. My suspicion of why I had the affinity is the fact that I want to become all those things. I believe that MBA is the right school to get me to all my goals, hopes, and dreams. I believe that no matter how smart or athletic you are, there's a reason that gentleman is the first word on the motto, and that it wasn't a sheer coincidence. If there's one thing that I think MBA's mission is, it will be turning every boy into the best version of himself and making him a gentleman. I believe that it doesn't matter if you're the most athletic or smartest or can even list 200 digits of pi. It's important that you are a kind human being and are truly a gentleman. I would like to join the group of boys that MBA has made true gentlemen. That's his opening paragraph. It goes on, and I'll come back to it. Throughout my life, I grew up in Richmond, Virginia. I began teaching at Woodbury Forest School in Virginia, and really wish that I had actually gone there. After I started teaching there as a boy, I would have loved it. But every day when I walked in past the chapel, there on the right, there is William DeWitt Hyde's A Boy's Prayer. And boys' schools do like to take this up, and it has informed the way that I approach my work with the boys, and so I wanted to share it with you here. It says, give me clean hands, clean words, and clean thoughts. Help me to stand for the hard right against the easy wrong. Save me from habits that harm. Teach me to work as hard and play as fairly in thy sight alone as if all the world saw. Forgive me when I'm unkind to others, and help me to forgive those who are unkind to me. And send me chances to do a little good every day. So live a life that is useful. It's not only energizing, but it fills me with hope that as boys choose to come to MBA, they choose it with that notion of being a gentleman as the primary reason. Above all things, we want our boys to become good men, and we will fill the school with that, and I truly hope that it serves as a light and a beacon moving forward into the world. And in that way, these boys also hope to join you and hope to be here 50 years after their own graduations. And I can say that with confidence because it's right here in the letter. The boy says, and I'll skip past the part where he says he definitely wants to go to Harvard and he wants to play professional hockey, and we'll get to the more realistic pieces of this. My fourth goal is focused around building a legacy. You see, MBA has been around since 1867. That's a whopping 157 years, exclamation mark. If people didn't trust MBA, then why would it still be here over a century and a half later? I have friends whose dads went to MBA, and they turned out to be awesome people, and I would like to be just like them. My parents are from two very different places and went to public schools. I am the first person in my family to attend a school like MBA, and I would love to build a legacy of my own. Powerful. Thank you so much for being here and for building this legacy of MBA with us. Hope you enjoy your lunch. I hope that you have had a chance to look through the program and read about our Distinguished Service Award recipients and also have enjoyed the photos here on the screen. Please do continue eating, but as you do, if you would turn your attention to the screen behind me for a video honoring our Distinguished Service recipients.
Hi, my name is Tom Bailey. Along with my close friend Gene Shanks, we're being honored here today. For that, we thank Dr. Daughtry and our many friends on MBA's alumni and development staff. But the real credit goes to our wonderful friend and legendary band musician, Pat Patrick. We lost Pat suddenly to a stroke 2 short months after our class of '65 reunion in 2015. When Pat died, it stunned his family, his friends, and his classmates. Many of us felt it was the most shocking loss outside of our own nuclear families that we had ever experienced. Gene and I struggled teary-eyed and choke-voiced rendering our eulogies at Pat's funeral. Shortly afterwards, Gene and I met with Brad Gioia to try to imagine a way to honor the talented, spirited, happy person that Pat was. He would not have been especially impressed to have a building or a field or a classroom named after him. He would have wanted something to carry on his music and his love of people, as he had done in life. Something dynamic and growing, something that embodied his wonder at the roots of jazz, the origins of rock and roll, and the sheer joy of watching so many friends dance and sing along with his dance bands over the years. So we founded the Pat Patrick Music Fund to carry on his legacy for the young men at MBA who shared his interest in music, and what a success it has proven to be. To help you know Pat a little better, after teaching himself how to play the guitar and the keyboard with friends in his garage on Skyline Drive, Pat played his first gig in Gene's basement in the 7th grade. That was the start of his more than 50 years as a musician and a band leader. He played in Nashville constantly. I'm sure that most of you here have danced along with him to what he called the PP beat. He also traveled throughout the Southeast and all over the U.S. with as many as 4 or 5 bands of different sizes playing on the same weekend. Despite his ridiculously demanding schedule, he faithfully maintained his warm friendships with us and his many friends from Julia Green School, MBA, and Vanderbilt. So it is with great appreciation that here today we're once again celebrating Pat's life and our vivid memories of him 9 years after he left us. It's a tribute to him that so many of his 1965 classmates and other good friends, many of whom had no prior connection to MBA, have contributed to the fund and the wonderfully successful music programs that bear his name. It's also a tribute to MBA's incredibly talented band leaders, Jordan and Jan, that they have found multiple ways to take advantage of this support to grow and firmly establish the amazing music programs at MBA. It would not have happened without their energy and skills. Thank you for being here to honor Gene and me and our whole team of folks involved with the Pat Patrick Fund, including Courtney and Mary. And please join with us in saying, "Play on, Pat, play on."
I think that learning from a professional will help us later in life, maybe get gigs, interact with musicians, you know, someone who's in the industry.
I was going to pursue jazz in college a little bit, but it just psyched me so much up seeing these amazing players at Snug Harbor and Preservation Hall. It really warmed my heart to see all those musicians and that I got all of this as a gift.
You hear it? Change the third to E flat instead of E. So check it out. I go from.
Pat Patrick Music Fund has had an immense impact on the culture of the music program and the band program on all levels.
When we go on one of these trips, it's really fun and rewarding for us to see the excitement on the boys' faces when they get to play alongside musicians that they think are amazing. They bring that excitement home and it bleeds over into our classes.
Thanks to the Pat Patrick Fund, I was able to take a trip with some of my classmates to the city of New Orleans. This really greatly helped me decide where I wanted to go to college, as there I was introduced to some of the jazz faculty at Loyola, and I kind of realized that I could really do something beyond high school with music. And I don't think I would have come to that decision if I weren't on that trip.
The Pat Patrick trip was awesome for me. It was life-changing, some would say. I mean, just kind of solidified how much I really love live performing and just watching live performances. So much so that I even now work in the music industry. So I went on the trip when I was a junior or senior here, and I think it's super cool that my little brother got to go on it, and yeah, I'm really glad he got to have that experience.
The trip was amazing. It's a trip that I'll never forget because I've always loved music, but that just really deepened my appreciation for it, and just like I enjoy it so much, and really just got a different view on so many different styles and the history about it and the stories that came with it. Being able to go play at one of the most iconic blues bars in the world with B.B. King's, and the welcome we got there, the people we met, just all sorts of different type of people, and then even among ourselves, being able to talk and become friends with people that I haven't really interacted with before. It was a trip I'll never forget, and I'm forever grateful that I went on.
Tom and Gene, we thank you so much for the tremendous effort it took to make this fund exist in the first place.
Now we will hear from Jordan Frederick, whom you saw in the video, with a few remarks.
Hello, my name is Jordan Frederick, and I'm one of the band directors here at Montgomery Bell Academy. I'm here today to honor two extraordinary gentlemen, Tom Bailey and Gene Shanks, who have made an incredible impact on MBA's music program, Jan Pippin and me, both personally and professionally, but most importantly, the lives of our students and the MBA community. Tom Bailey, MBA class of 65 and Vanderbilt class of 69, began his career as a banking officer in Nashville before attending law school at the University of Virginia. He worked at a law firm in Manhattan for 25 years, then in White Plains for another 15. His wife, Hunter, graduated from Middlebury College before working in engineering and marketing with IBM in New York City for 15 years. Gene Shanks, also MBA class of 65, attended Vanderbilt as well, and then went on to receive his MA and PhD from Stanford in economics. Gene began his career as the Executive Vice President and Treasurer of Commerce for the Union Bank here in Nashville, and he moved on to become the President and Director of Bankers Trust Company in New York, and later served as the Founder, President, and CEO of NetRisk, and finally as a Director, Consultant, and Advisor for multiple companies until his retirement. Gene and his wife Susan met in New York as young bankers and raised their family in Greenwich, Connecticut, but now live here in Nashville. While these are incredible careers and accolades, this is not how I know Tom and Gene. Their work together in creating the Pat Patrick Fund is part of their continuing story and contribution to MBA that I'm really here to speak on. Tom and Gene have spent countless hours planning and working to create a living memorial fund for their friend, classmate, and musician Pat Patrick. That fund has created an indelible legacy that will stretch far beyond the walls of MBA and the lives of the students and families that make up this school. The fund is able to bring in professional musicians into our classrooms to inspire our students, show them what is possible, and to light a fire in them to continue their pursuits in music. It allows us to take performance trips with our students, connecting our curriculum to the real world. The impact it has had on students is easily measurable. It has led directly to students attending universities we have visited, such as Jack Rogers heading to Loyola next year. It has seen students such as Matthew McMinn, Ben Wood, Jason Zhu, and William Gu continuing to pursue music both at the university level and in groups they've formed at college, such as Mauro Mastrapasqua's leading and revival of the jazz club at Duke University, as well as in their patronage of the arts. Students that experience guest musicians or these trips come back into the classroom engaged and passionate and share that with those around them. Alumni who come back to see us, which is frequent thanks to the relationship the Pat Patrick Fund creates, have nothing but glowing nostalgia from the memories and experiences the fund is able to provide. The fund also allows Jan and I as teachers to continually enrich our skills, practices, knowledge, and to grow as teachers through our interaction with and from the guest musicians and the Pat Patrick trips. We have, in fact, built an amazing network of educators, performers, and friends thanks to this fund. The fund has taken us to jazz festivals, blues trips into Memphis and the Mississippi Delta, to New Orleans, where students study and perform with professional musicians and teachers who add invaluable context to the music that we study specifically for these trips. We are also able to immerse ourselves in the history and cultures of the places we visit. These trips reward the students' efforts at becoming musicians and artists in real time and in real world settings. It quite literally allows them to be musicians and has acted as an unbelievably positive motivating agent for our program. To Tom and Gene, I hope you know how incredible, potent, and lasting the impact you have made on the MBA music program has been and will continue to be. It has and will inspire generations of students to be motivated and passionate about making and studying music, and will connect them with the world that Pat loves so much. I cannot think of a more fitting legacy for Pat Patrick. Tom and Gene, you have made this a reality. The bonds and relationships that you formed at MBA and Vanderbilt, and with Pat Patrick as a friend, musician, and entertainer, infuse this amazing gift in the work that you've done. It continues to connect students, teachers, and musicians in and outside of our program in ways that transcend words. Thank you for your time, care, and efforts, and congratulations on being MBA's Distinguished Service Award recipients.
Tom and Gene, if you would please come to the podium. We have a small gift for you. I have on my notes, which I follow very much, Tom and Gene accept and 2-minute talk. Do you all have a 2-minute talk? You want to say a few words? I don't want to overlook it.
Greetings, everyone. Thank you. Jordan, where's Jordan sitting? Right in the back. Thank you, Jordan, and thank you, William, for the kind introduction and generous recognition. All of us were taught down through the years by our headmasters, head of schools, in our case, from Mr. Carter down through Brad Joya and now William Daughtry, that MBA was all about friends and relationships. And that we want to be gentlemen, scholars, and athletes. But the essence of MBA is friendship. And so Tom and Pat and I were all members of the class of 65, many of which are here today. There's a whole table back there for the class of 65. Thanks for coming. And we were all great friends, so it was natural for us, upon Pat's passing, to try to figure out a tribute for him. And we thought it was going to be a daunting project to set this up, but it turned out to be really easy. I mean, we don't really deserve this award. All we did was we had a couple of meetings with Brad and at MBA. We wrote a few letters, emails, and we got to listen to great jazz. What could be better? It was fabulous. I want to thank Jordan and Jan Pippin, Jordan Frederick and Jan Pippin, because they made it happen. They did the hard work of bringing the program together and making an impact on the jazz musicians at MBA and on the student body as a whole. And of course, I want to recognize Brad Joya. He did the heavy lifting of setting up the fund and getting the program going. And of course, now we have support and direction of William. So anyway, it's been a great, and I'd be remiss without thanking all the contributors, many of which are here today, to the fund. We appreciate that. And I want to turn it over to Tom, but before I do, I want to say to everybody, I want to thank Tom for his energy and leadership and carrying the torch all these years. And a suggestion for all of you, if you have a new project, a good idea, a good plan, a new program, get Tom to be your co-head. He makes it happen.
First of all, it's a delight to share this day with you, to honor our class's long-term role model and good friend, Ben Gamble, and to pay tribute to our wonderful friend and talented musician, Pat Patrick, through Gene and me. For us on the stage, this day represents a renewal of our love of this campus we call the Hill, of an appreciation for our extremely gifted teachers and coaches that have so deeply shaped our lives. And we hope you're not disappointed, Ms. Lowry. Especially thank you for our love of our MBA friends and classmates that have meant so much to us for more than 6 decades. Wow. Thank you.
Thank you both so much. We now have a video to recognize our distinguished award recipient. Please turn your attention to the screen behind me.
I think of Ben Gamble. I think when he came here, he was already a gentleman and a scholar and an athlete. And they recognized it immediately because he was voted the best boy in the 7th grade. And by the time he was a senior and gone through MBA, they voted him the president of the student body.
When I think of my dad, I really start with MBA's motto, which is gentleman, scholar, and athlete. And then I would add one thing, which is leader.
I think Ben is the epitome of an MBA board member, and he's occupied some of the most important positions on the board of any board member over a consistently long period of time. Ben has been the most conscientious board member that I think I've ever been associated with it on any kind of a board.
I can remember, watching Ben. He was a gentleman always, a very kind person, cared deeply for the school. As I recall, I think he was a star athlete for MBA, and he was a successful business guy.
Now, Ben was a a great guy and a leader and a great student, but he was also really known as a great athlete. He played football here for 4 years, baseball for 4 years, and basketball for 4 years. In baseball, he was a starter at first base. As a basketball player, he was the captain, of course, and he was the leading scorer. And then in football, not only was he the captain of the team, and it was really a good NBA football team that year, he was also All-City. He was elected All-State. He was most valuable lineman in Nashville.
I can remember Ben telling somebody about his time as being board chair, and he made the statement, I believe, that it was one of the greatest honors of his life. And I remember how that resonated with me, and I thought, wow, that would be a great honor to be named NBA board chair. I would say, my biggest thank you to Ben was in his being such a good role model for me and a leader for the school. I just think he did a tremendous job, and I can't say enough nice things about Ben Gamble.
I think he still looks back on MBA as one of his formative reasons for really prizing kindness and generosity towards others.
When I think of Ben Gamble, the very first word that comes to mind is gentleman. You will never meet a more kind, thoughtful, and gentle man. Ben led the school as board chair through some challenging times with a confident leadership of high standards, diplomacy, and grace. His support of and care for the school are unmatched. I feel very fortunate to have worked with Ben for the last 20-something years. Ben is our distinguished alumnus.
He's constantly positive, so he has a phrase in life which is pull the gold ring, which means that take advantage of every situation. Life is short, and there's no reason to be negative. Constantly be positive. He really feels like MBA is one of the most important times of his life, and it really taught him how to give back, and he continues to give back to the school.
I think the best thing I think of and can remember about Ben Gamble's from the earliest days that I've known him, he was a leader, but he was the best kind of a leader. He was a servant leader. Never above you, but maybe a step or two always in front of you. And so I really appreciate him. Ben, congratulations on this wonderful award.
Ben, congratulations for being one of the school's most distinguished alumni. The award, I think, is very, very well deserved. So thank you for your service to the school.
I would like to offer my heartiest congratulations to Ben Gamble and say, Ben, you've worked very, very hard for a long, long time, and you have done a fantastic job in every job you've undertaken as far as the school is concerned, and nobody deserves this any more than you do. My family and I are happy to tell you what a great board member, what a great MBA alumnus you have been. Congratulations.
Dad, congratulations. Very deserving of this award, and love you.
I think he was made to be here, and the school was made for him.
Now we'll hear from Barry Banker with a few words.
Thank you, William. Beneath Ben Gamble's senior picture in the 1963 yearbook is the prophetic inscription, Mr. President, and yeah, I'm captain. These words eloquently capture Ben's remarkable achievements, not just as his days as a student, but throughout his life. Here, he led teams in football, basketball, baseball, served as student body president his senior year, was tapped for Totemoy, exemplifying his dedication, leadership, and spirit. He carried these traits to Washington and Lee as an athlete, a leader, and president of Sigma Alpha Epsilon. Upon returning to Nashville, Ben joined Braid Electric Company, a family-owned business known for more than a century as America's oldest independent electrical distributor, whose roots traced back to 1878 and a Scotsman named J.W. Braid, who sold the company to Ben and Tommy's grandfather in 1910. As president and CEO of Braid from 1972 to 2004, he successfully expanded the business and yet still had time to participate and provide leadership to a long list of professional organizations, including the Nashville Area Chamber of Commerce, the Tennessee Business Roundtable, Young Presidents Organization, and the Business Leadership Council. Ben's involvement also extended to civic endeavors, as evidenced by his service on the SunTrust Bank Board in Nashville, his role as president of the Nashville Rotary Club, his chairmanship of the Salvation Army, and his involvement on the boards of the YMCA, St. Thomas Hospital, and Leadership Nashville. W&L held a special place in Ben's heart, as seen through his long-standing service on the Alumni Association and his valuable contributions as a board member from 2006 to 2015. Above all, 56 years of faithful devotion to his lovely wife, Katie, an unwavering presence as a father to Ben and Scotty, and the tender care of as a doting grandfather of 7 epitomized the depth of love for his family. He is a true and dear friend to many of us as well. It is here on the Hill that Ben's unwavering dedication to all that he loves has flourished. Since his days as a student, he has committed himself wholeheartedly and selflessly to every facet of the school's activities and initiatives. A member of the board for 42 years, he has served on the executive committee since 1992 and was elected chairman of the board in 1997, serving tirelessly for 8 years. During this time, with Ben as chair and Brad Joya as headmaster, MBA made remarkable progress in every aspect of the school. The Named Scholars Program, which significantly increased financial aid, was created. The physical facilities changed dramatically. The Ingram Science Building and Carter Hall were built. Additions and renovations were made to the middle school and the former Curry Gym. The remote fields at 42nd Avenue were acquired and developed. The first of many challenging acquisitions of Brighton Avenue was made, and the front entrance of the campus, of which the Gamble Quadrangle is a centerpiece, was reconfigured. Most notably, inspired by Ben's kind and gentle nature, Dr. Joya fostered a cultural change within the student body. This transformation led to a deeper, more nurturing connection between the esteemed roles of gentleman, scholar, and athlete. Even after Ben passed the gavel to Jimmy Webb in 2005, he continued to chair the Committee on Trustees and carefully guided the selection of more than 30 new board members over the past 18 years. To quote Dr. Joya, Ben Gamble has always personified for me the ideals of MBA. He has authentically shaped and expressed a vision of excellence for our community through his leadership and love for the school. His kindness, humility, and tenacity that focus on the care for students, faculty, staff, and alumni brought distinction to the school and the community. In 2017, Ben reflected in a video celebrating our sesquicentennial that he could not feel anything but gratitude and thankfulness for Montgomery Bell Academy. Today, all of the MBA community celebrates that same gratitude for his lifelong commitment of sharing resources, time, and self. It is inspirational and exemplary. 27 years ago, I had the distinct privilege of nominating Ben to be chairman of the Board of Trustees. Today, I have the honor of recognizing him as the 2024 Distinguished Alumnus of Montgomery Bell Academy.
Thank you so much for those words, Barry. Now, pleased to invite Ben to the podium and Mr. Joya as well to present him with a gift.
Join me in thanking Ben Gamble one more time for being such a wonderful individual.
Don't believe everything you hear. Barry, I can't thank you enough for those kind remarks, and especially for the friendship we've had these many years. And to Brad Joya for everything he's done for MBA, and especially the last 30 years. Our friendship could not be any deeper, and thank you and Mena for being part of my life. I'm thrilled to accept this award and honored to be in the footsteps of all the Distinguished Alum Award recipients over the years. My relationship with MBA goes back to 1957, the first year that Francis Carter served as headmaster, and developed our motto of gentleman, scholar, and athlete. I've had the privilege of working with three unbelievable headmasters, Douglas Pascal for a very short period of time, and then Brad Joya, and now, thank goodness, William Daughtry. And William, we're so thrilled that you're here. I've had the pleasure of attending with my brother and business partner Tom for many years, and he's been a great support to me through the years. I've got a lot of teammates and classmates that are here today, and I thank you for coming. I've got family members, my nephews Keith and Phelps are here, cousins Ben and Sam Glasgow are here, and I appreciate very much y'all being here today. I especially want to thank my outstanding son, Benjamin, who had a great experience here, and I appreciate your kind remarks on the video as well as those who participated, Jamie Tillman, David Ingram, and Jake Wallace. They're very thoughtful to have done that. And lastly, but certainly not least, I want to recognize my grandson, my grandson, Drake, who's going to enter and sign the book in August and join the MBA student body. So Drake, stand up, please. My relationship with MBA has meant more to me than anything in my life other than my family. You've heard from several of them. I especially want to say thank you to my wonderful spouse and partner in life, Katie, and my beautiful and successful and accomplished daughter, Scotty, for being here. So y'all are wonderful support. I believe MBA will continue to thrive as long as we stay focused on our motto of gentleman, scholar, and athlete, while striving to really be progressive and inclusive, but also honoring the history and traditions of this great school. So I think if we can continue those, and it's a pretty simple formula, I think, but we've got to do all of them together, and we will be here 150 years from now. So thank you very much for the award. Roll, Red, roll.
Ben, Jean, Tom, we're so thankful to have you as part of this MBA community and the ways that you have contributed and shaped the school as it is today. We will have the opportunity for some campus tours here at the conclusion of the meal, and if you would like to take one, if you would please meet a member of our Alumni and Development Office at the back. They'd be happy to show you around. No rush to leave. Hope that you continue to encourage each other's company here today and the rest of our reunion festivities this weekend. But this does conclude the formal part of our program. Thank you for being here.